In this short lecture, we're going to look at the basics of political socialization and political participation. I'm going to rely pretty heavily on the textbook, which explains this in infinite and almost painful detail. Political socialization is the process by which we gain information about the world and we process that information. How we acquire the information and what we do with it. It consists of knowledge, feelings, and an evaluative framework. So where do we get this? Well, we get it from family, schools, peers, and media. There are other sources, but study after study after study indicates that these are the big four. Now, I can stretch this thing out. I took a lengthy semester-long course in political socialization in graduate school, and I will be honest with you, it was one of the most frustrating courses that I ever took. We read dozens and dozens of articles and studies, and the truth of the matter was, when we got through with it, we didn't know any much more than what I've just given you. Political attitudes, specific knowledge versus general attitudes. We acquire the general attitudes in the political socialization process. We continue to acquire specific knowledge in school, at work, in socialization with our peers, and this is filtered through the ideology that we have. That is, the beliefs we have about politics, public policy, public purpose, role of mankind, society. All of that serves as a filter to help us either understand or confuse us in terms of what's going on. Now that leads to participation. What are the motives? Political efficacy. I feel I voted, therefore I am a better person. A sense of duty. Well, I really don't know too much about this election, but I feel like I need to vote in every election. Party identification. I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm a socialist, I'm an independent, I'm a libertarian, and this is the group that I support. And I may not know much about the candidate, but if they're running under that label, I'll support them. And then social and economic motivations. I belong to an organization. This organization feels very strongly about this. I feel like I need to support that particular organization. That plays a pretty good role. So what are the forms? Well, we can follow events, we can contact public officials, or we could protest, marches, rallies, boycotts. Violence is perhaps the most unique, or shall we say extreme, form of participation. Now there has been studies and studies and studies on citizen participation, and Sidney Verba and Norman Dye published a book back in the 1960s on political participation, and it has become essentially the Bible, if you will, of people who study citizen participation. People range from being totally inactive, where they're totally uninvolved in politics, to complete activists. Voting specialists, people who are very active at the local level but are not particularly concerned at the state or national level, people who are concerned with who are very active in their communities and very active in community organizations but not particularly active politically. Campaigners, people who go out and try to campaign for candidates. And then you have the complete activists, the people who do everything. Is it rational? Anthony Downs published a book in which he said the costs weighed against the final impact make participation irrational. There's no particular reason to participate. But I'm going to tell you, my response is that democracy can only function when every citizen participates in the process. And to quote a famous line, "It is the fate of those who do not participate to be governed by those who do."